Okay, so moving on to the second part of the final project. You filled out your form, and hopefully I've gotten back to you about your ideas, if you're on the right track. Now, this portion is worth 12%. If you go to the next slide, this is more formal. This is where you're going to synthesize your ideas into proper sentences, and you will not be expected to put it in point form. So now that you have your plan in place, you need to create the historical record outlining your society. Remember, this is the only record that future generations will have of you and your people, so be detailed and specific. This record should include a brief overview of your society's rise and fall. You can romanticize the actions of this. Was there a war? Was there a plague? Was there just discrepancy or problems within the politics of your society that caused the downfall of it? Either way, it's up to you. You should already have an idea based on your PowerPoint or your sheet you handed me. Now, the next portion is a population pyramid. You can find this on Unit 4, Activity 3. So if you go back to the content and you go to Unit 4, and then you scroll down to Activity 3, it should be in the content in the PowerPoint or the Google slide. Right there. So this is your population pyramid. This one's very focused and detailed. Yours doesn't have to be every 4 years. You could have every 10 years how old they were. It could be a smaller pyramid. As long as you're giving a good idea of what your demographic was and the age group, right? Your society could have 75% old people, or you could be a very young society. Maybe that's the cause of its demise, is that the young government and the young politics didn't have enough experience or wisdom to continue. So again, that's on Unit 4, Activity 3. So if we go back to the culminating activity, assignment, part 2, excerpts from a key cultural, societal, and individual contributor. It should be roughly a paragraph for each one, and it's just analyzing from these different perspectives. So it could be a quote or an interview. We've looked at the idea of interviews when collecting data. This is where you will be tested on that somewhat. And then if you move down to explanation and illustration of the society's bureaucracies and institutions' interrelationships. So really lay out society's structure. Think of the activity we just did with regard to China. You may want to consider how education is funded, or how the economy is run, or perhaps any other relations to the workforce. You could also, as stated, base this around a society that's more familiar to you, Canada. How is our government run? How is it related to the education, the healthcare, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you look at number 5, collect any relevant terms, ideas, and names from the content. I want you to sift through all the content that we've done and try to remember ideas and terms that may help you explain the formation of your society and the demise of your society. So, for instance, if you were doing a bit of studying or research, and we'll go back to Unit 4, Growth in Society, and say Activity 1. We'll go to the content, and what do we have? Power groups. So you could, when you're talking about the formation of your society or the demise, look at the power elite. Maybe there was a power elite in your society that contributed to the rise and the stabilization, or perhaps led to the demise and the fall of your society. How did they get their way, right? We looked at how the ends justify the means and the Machiavellian ideas. Or perhaps you can look at these different ideas from these different thinkers, right? We'll say society is the actual arrangement of social relations. You could talk about the different relationships and interrelationships based around Jenkins or Young or Lenski would be a good one. The technological, economic, and communication levels, and how your society has grown with these. But again, it's up to you. Be creative. Use what you know. And after you're finished this part, you can move on to the third portion. And if you scroll down to the bottom of Unit 6, you'll see the screencast for that. Good luck.